We see trees all the time, right? Every single day. But how often do we really stop and look at them? I mean, these silent giants, they're so much more than just background scenery. They are living, breathing things with this secret life that's, believe it or not, just as complex as ours. So today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to unlock those secrets and dive into the hidden world of trees.
Yeah, I mean, just look at a forest like this, you can almost feel it, can't you? There's this incredibly complex living system working away. You've got a whole world of interconnected roots under the ground, a canopy just buzzing with life up above, and a constant flow of information between them all. So we're going to peel back those layers, one by one. We'll start big, from a planetary scale, and then zoom all the way down into the very heart of one single tree.
All right, first things first. Let's pull way back and get the big picture. Because if you really want to understand a single tree, you've got to know its place in the grand scheme of things, right? So, where are the great forests of our planet? And maybe more importantly, what are they actually doing for all of us?
Okay, so this map shows it perfectly. It's like our planet has these green belts wrapped around it, and you can clearly see the three main zones. Up north, that huge sea of dark green, that's the conifer zone. It's actually the largest forest on the entire planet. Then you have the temperate broadleaf zone, which is this beautiful patchwork of color and life. And right there, nestled between the tropics, is that lush, rainy, always green tropical zone.
And here's the thing you've got to remember. These zones aren't just pretty green patches on a map. No way. They are literally the planet's life support system. Think about it. They produce the very oxygen we breathe. They hold our soil together so it doesn't just wash away. They're massive climate regulators, controlling rainfall. And of course, they provide a home for just a mind-boggling number of living things. Yeah, lungs of the planet is the perfect way to put it.
All right, so we've seen the global view. Now let's zoom in a bit. Because here's something you might not think about. Not all forests are created equal. In fact, you can pretty much split them into two totally different categories. And it all comes down to one simple thing. Us. Human involvement. So on one side, you've got the wild forest. This is an ecosystem that just does its own thing. It grows, it evolves, it lives without any help or interference from us. It's this beautiful, chaotic dance of life. Then you've got the managed forest. And really, this is more like a tree farm. It's an area where people plant and take care of the trees for a very specific reason, usually for something like timber.
And wow, these two images just nail the difference, don't they? Look at the one on the left. That's your wild forest. It's messy, it's chaotic, it's diverse. You've got trees of all different ages and sizes, all that stuff growing on the forest floor. It just feels wild. Now look at the right. That's the managed forest. See that order, that uniformity? All the trees are the same age, standing in these perfect, neat rows. It's like they're soldiers on parade.
Okay, so we've covered the world of forests. Let's zoom in again. Let's go from the group to the individual. It's time to talk about the star of the show, the tree itself. So what exactly is a tree? And what are its most basic parts?
Now, this might sound super simple, but the definition is actually really important. A tree is a woody plant. That's what separates it from all its non-woody cousins, like flowers and grasses. And then there's the single main trunk. That's the key thing that makes it different from a shrub. A shrub has a bunch of stems coming right out of the ground. A tree has that one main trunk.
So pretty much all trees fall into two big groups. First, you've got your conifers. These are the classic evergreens, right? They've got those sharp needle-like leaves. Their wood is softer, it's lighter, which makes it great for building things. Then you have the broadleaf trees. These are the show-offs of the tree world. They often drop their big, flat leaves in the fall in this amazing explosion of color. And their wood, it's hard, it's heavy, and it's what we love to use for beautiful furniture and decoration.
And a lot of the time, you can tell them apart just by looking at their overall shape. See the conifer on the left? It's got that classic cone shape, right? The Christmas tree look, a perfect green pyramid. But the broadleaf tree over on the right, it's got a much rounder, more spread out crown. It's almost like a giant leafy umbrella.
But hey, if you really want to be sure, just look at the leaves. That's the dead giveaway. Conifers have needles or scales. They're kind of prickly. Broadleaf trees have, well, just like the name says, broad, flat leaves. It's a super simple difference, but it tells you a ton about what kind of tree you're looking at and what the wood inside is like.
So no matter if it's a conifer or a broadleaf, every tree has the same basic blueprint. You've got the roots down below, which act as both an anchor and a sponge, this hidden network sucking up water and minerals from the soil. Then you've got the trunk. That's the tree's backbone, holding everything up, but it's also like a superhighway, shooting all those nutrients upward. And then, at the very top, you have the crown. That's the real powerhouse, the engine room, where the tree makes its food and, well, makes more trees.
Okay, so let's talk about that engine room.
how in the world does a tree actually make its own food? I mean, this is a process that pretty much powers all life on Earth. And it's like a magical recipe that's being cooked up inside every single leaf.
And this diagram lays out the recipe perfectly. Okay, so follow along here. The tree sucks up water through its roots. Think of it like a giant straw. At the same time, it's breathing in carbon dioxide from the air through these tiny little holes in its leaves. Then, it takes energy from the sun and uses it to cook those two things together. And that incredible process, that's called photosynthesis.
So, in a nutshell, photosynthesis is how the tree makes its food. And that food is basically sugar. It's the fuel that powers all its growth. Now, this can only happen during the day because you need sunlight. It's like a solar-powered chef. And the best part? As a little bonus, a byproduct of this whole process, it releases the oxygen that we all need to breathe. It's really the ultimate solar-powered factory, and it's an amazing gift to the planet.
But wait, making the food is only half the story, right? The tree that has to actually use that food to grow. And that second step is called respiration. And unlike photosynthesis, this happens 24/7, day and night. It's this constant hum of activity. The tree actually uses a little oxygen to break down those sugars it just made, and that releases the energy it needs to build itself up, to create those strong woody parts like cellulose and lignin, the stuff that actually makes a tree a tree.
In all of this, it brings us to our final and maybe the most fascinating secret of all. Because all this growing that's happening, season after season, year after year, it leaves behind a record. It's like a secret diary written in wood, a story of time etched right into the very heart of the tree.
I mean, a tree's life is just this incredible story of growth, isn't it? It starts as this tiny little seed, just a promise of what it could be, and it becomes this towering giant, a true testament to resilience. But that growth isn't a straight line. It ebbs and flows with the seasons. There's this huge burst of energy in the spring and summer, and then a long, quiet rest during the winter.
And this is the record of that life. Every single year, the tree adds a brand new layer of wood to its trunk. It's like adding a new chapter to his autobiography. Each one of these rings you see, that's 1 year of growth. And it holds the story of what that year was like. A silent history of droughts, floods, good years, bad years. It's all there. You can count the rings to find out how old it is, but if you know how to read them, you can unlock the secrets of its entire life.
So, you're probably wondering why the light and dark pattern. Well, it's pretty cool. In the spring, when there's lots of water and sun, conditions are perfect, and the tree grows really fast. This creates big cells with thin walls, and that's the light-colored ring. You can think of it as the good times wood. Then, as summer wears on, growth slows down. The cells it makes are smaller and have thicker walls, and that creates the darker band. That's the toughening it out wood. So 1 light ring plus 1 dark ring, that's 1 full year. It's the tree's entire journey through the seasons, right there.
And get this, here's the cool little twist. What about trees in the tropics? They don't really have a winter, right? So how do they mark the time? Well, they still keep a diary. But instead of the rings being formed by the change from warm to cold, their rings are formed by the cycle of rainy seasons and dry seasons. So it's a story written in water, not temperature. The principle is exactly the same, it's just adapted to a whole different kind of climate.
So, next time you're out and you walk past a tree, maybe you'll see it a little differently. It's not just a plant. It's an incredible solar-powered factory. It's a critical piece of our planet's life support system. And it's a living historian, recording decades, maybe even centuries of time in its very body. So the only question left is, what stories are the trees in your neighborhood waiting to tell you?